As a preliminary matter, this is Claire O'Connor, Chair. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Deb LeBeau? You got to unmute to say respond. Joan Berry?
Yes.
Nancy Gilbert?
Yes.
Anne Marie Bird?
Yes.
Lisa Powers?
Yes.
Dean Gillum?
Yes.
Jeff Billingham?
Yes.
April Jones Prince?
Yes.
And we have two people joining us from Selco. Jackie Pratt?
Yep.
Patrick Collins.
Aye.
Okay, so staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Priya Rantham? Rathnam.
Yeah.
I always get your name wrong. Okay, so good evening. This open meeting of the Library Board of Trustees is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the board is convening by Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please be sure to press 6 to mute your device. The meeting will feature public comment. Please wait until I open an item for public comment and press 6 to unmute your device. Finally, each vote taken in the meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. So the first item on our agenda is to review and act to approve the minutes of the March 23rd meeting.
Motion to approve. Nancy.
Second, it's a second. I had a second, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so when I call your name, say yes or no. Deb?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Jeff?
Hello, Jeff.
Jeff? We need,
Okay,
yeah.
now I'm back. Yes,
Okay,
I
and
lost
April.
everyone.
Yes.
Okay, now I think we're going to go out of order here, and we're going to go down to one of the items from facilities, equipment, and grants, because we have two representatives of Selco here to tell us about an electric car charging station that they want to set up at the library. So I'll leave it to Jackie and Patrick to take it from here.
Thank you so much. So Patrick's been doing a lot of background research here at Selco to find some opportunities for grants for electric vehicle charging stations that would be accessible to the public. And with the town's recent promotion of the Shrewsbury Town Center District and all of the good things we have going on down there, we figured it would be a really excellent location to site a public EV charging station. The grant that we found is the Mass EVIP grant, and it does require it to be on municipally owned property. So after doing a survey downtown with one of the contractors that we may potentially be working with, the library was really determined to be the most accessible location, really in the heart of the center there. And we thought it would be such a good partnership between Selco Public Buildings, the Shrewsbury Public Library, to bring this kind of next generation of transportation infrastructure to Shrewsbury. So we're kind of in the early stages of the planning. We've got a lot of different stakeholder groups that we need to get on board with us. Obviously, being you guys, the Library Board of Trustees, as well as the Historic District Commission. We've already spoken with the town manager and the assistant town manager, as well as the Public Buildings Department, DPW. And we're sort of working our way through all of the people that we need to get on board to agree that this would be a great project so that we can actually apply for the grant and move forward from there with the engineering review on our part and eventually installation of the chargers. So I had presented a proposal to Priya, which I believe she's distributed to you folks with a little mock-up of the location, taking into consideration information provided to us by the DPW Public Buildings Department. And working with Priya to try to find a location on the property that worked. We've targeted the parking spots laid out in the image on the 140 side of the building, not the front. So we had considered some down on Main Street, and we don't think that would fly. So with the historic district. So the proposal really is to put one charging station in with two heads. And we actually need to, for the lining, replace 3 spots with 2 spots we can appropriately market. And so I guess it's pretty straightforward, and thought we'd just kind of open it up to any questions you folks might have.
Are there any security issues associated with this? Or?
I mean, there shouldn't be. Public charging stations are becoming pretty run of the mill at this point. This is where we're going as, you know, like I said, transportation infrastructure of tomorrow, but it's coming today. So I don't foresee there being any issue. Patrick might have answers. Do you know of any concerns on that front, Patrick?
No. Are
Yeah,
you
I haven't seen
asking
anything.
about security in terms of you know, the building, the library itself, or in terms of, you know, the unit?
In terms of the unit, I was thinking of there.
So-
No, I would say there isn't any concerns.
I'd welcome the board to ask some questions.
I don't have a question. I just think it's a great idea, and it makes sense that the public library would have, you know, such a service available to residents.
I agree.
I think it's a good idea too. But my question is, are there other charging stations in Shrewsbury yet? Pardon my ignorance, but would this be the first, or are there others too?
So there are some charging stations down at the Whole Foods in the Lakeway
Oh, yeah.
Commons. There's a couple of dealerships. Wagner, I think, has one. And there are some going in at the Reliant building. So there are a few around, but none in the center. So it's a prime location.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
This would be
Wegmans
the,
has,
the first, I was going to say, this would be the first publicly owned EV charger station in Shrewsbury. So
Oh,
those are,
I-
the other ones are private.
Oh,
And they're
Okay.
open to the public, but not owned by
Right.
the public.
and is there a cost
So I think it's a
associated
great-
with this?
Yes, there is. And Selco will be handling all of that.
But is there a cost to someone who has an electric car to charge? Do they get charged? Because I think I noticed the ones at Wegmans are free for 2
Right.
hours.
So Selco would control the fee or no fee for these charging stations. I imagine at least initially when they go out there, they would be free to charge. In discussions with Priya, we also don't want people to park and stay forever and ever, taking up your real
Yeah.
estate here. So there may be like a parking fee after your battery's full or after a period of time to encourage people to, you know, move on and pick a different spot, just so you don't have folks staking it out all the time.
So
And,
my
uh,
question is related to that. I think it's a great idea, but some days, especially weekends, holidays, the parking lot can be really busy and people can find a hard time to park. Is it only to be used for people who need it for charging? Or if it's really a busy day, can people use those spots if they don't intend to use it for a charge?
So it's supposed to be used just for charging. We did work with public buildings and the town planner to ensure that basically the deletion of that third spot to account for the striping that we need, that you guys still have more than enough spots required for this parcel. So you do have ample parking. I know it can get busy during programs, though.
Sometimes we don't,
Yeah.
though. Sometimes we don't.
No,
Believe it or
agreed. I mean,
not.
and I think that speaks to the popularity of the library and your program. So you're doing a great job on that
Yeah.
front.
I have another question too. I do like the idea of these parking spots. Would people be allowed to use the charging stations at any time when the library is not open?
Yes, yeah, they do have to be accessible. I mean, if you're driving and you need to charge and it's 10 o'clock at night, you need to charge your battery. So this is kind of commonplace for public EV charging stations. They're generally 24 hours accessible. And public buildings, excuse me, didn't seem to have an issue with that. They say people kind of park here. It's not really allowed, but it happens, so.
Can you talk a little bit about how long it takes to, like, is it 2 hours, like a full charge? Like, the idea isn't necessarily that someone's coming to the library for 10, 15 minutes to pick something up. They're going to park there and charge. Like, is it more that, like, it's more likely people will stay there for 2 hours?
Yeah, I'll let Patrick field that question.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the battery size of your car in terms of how long it would take to charge. So the unit is considered what we would call a level 2 charger, and that charges at a rate for, a typical EV, it would probably take about 4 to 5 hours to go from 0% to 100%. If you have a smaller, plug-in hybrid, for example, that has a smaller battery, it's like a 2.5 hour 0 to 100. So yes, I would anticipate people parking, staying there for a couple hours, not just going to the library. Perhaps they'd visit some other attractions in the center of town. So
Yeah, it's a good
Thank you.
economic development tool for sure as well, to bring people into maybe visiting some of the other areas, not just the library. So, and I can't imagine somebody would spend a whole 4 or 5 hours there. It's more of a top up, I would imagine. Spend a couple
Mhm.
hours, and we can govern that a little bit with the parking fees as we discussed, Priya. And even though these may have no fee associated with them as we launch them, as more and more electric vehicles get on the road and the industry sort of shakes out with kind of standards for charging fees, that may change.
Are these 220 volt lines?
Yep.
Okay,
It's a
the kind of things
220
that I
volt.
know if you're going to have one in your garage, you have to get a special line put in.
Right.
Yeah.
And we actually have a program where we will give you a residential charger for free as part of our scheduled charging program. So if you're interested, check it out.
Well, I really got to get a new car pretty soon, so I might be.
Yeah, the good thing is we're looking at not just today, but tomorrow too. So we would put in additional infrastructure to potentially bring a level 3 charger in the future. Pat, maybe you can speak a little bit to that as well.
Sure. Yeah. So the level 3 charger is the next step up from level 2. It's also known as DC fast charging. So you can go from 0 to 80% of a regular EV in about 20 minutes. So it's very fast, very efficient. And the unit that we've been looking into is a battery-based system where the battery is charged from the grid at a lower rate, like a trickle charge, and then the DC fast charging from the charger to the car is in DC, so it's very fast. So it doesn't have that huge grid load swings that you see in typical DC fast chargers. It's a pretty innovative technology and something that we'd like to perhaps put there in the library in future.
So we anticipate today these 2 spots, but as things progress, we may come back to you next year with another 2 spots with a fast charger. So we can see this being a hub for people and really driving more traffic, traffic to your location as well.
I agree that this is a wonderful option for the library and for the town. My only concern is that the spots that you have chosen, I know, are very popular with elderly patrons, especially those that have to carry things into the library. Notwithstanding that we have handicapped areas, but I don't know. I'm concerned about the location.
So I can speak a little bit to the location. If you'll notice in the mock-up, there's a transformer right there.
Yes.
So accessibility to actually install these would require much less trenching, and we wouldn't need to cut pavement at all to do it in this location. So for minimal impact, maximum visibility and accessibility, this is why we chose this particular location. There was one other spot kind of on the other side of the circle there that we had looked at, but you have a drop-off spot located there for people running in, and there's a strip of 6. So you may see some people shifting to that location to park if these 2 spots become EVs.
I spend a lot of my time at the library in the window because of the volunteer work that I've done. And I monitor the traffic quite a bit, Jackie. And it's not unusual to see every spot on the upper level totally full all day. So again, I just have a concern.
Would it be possible to, if you're looking at your mock-up, if you're looking at the spots, what about going up the hill? Like just so that the closer spots would be closer to the library door?
So in theory, we could potentially do that, but because of the location and proximity to the transformer and the intent to potentially add more spots in the future, it makes sense to start at the bottom and go up. Additionally, the grant does require preferred parking accessible to the general public, and these spots are striped to also be handicap accessible. So even though they're not handicap spots, a person who needs handicap accessibility and has an EV can easily use these spots as well. And while that might not be the majority of the folks using these spots today, EVs are going to become the primary vehicle you'll see out there over time. So
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe we already do hit what Dean is talking about. They're not handicapped spots right now anyways, but maybe we should be thinking about a few other spots on that upper lot that are reserved for people with some more difficulties, and maybe some signage for that. That's an entirely different issue, but that might be another way to solve the problem. It sounds to me like you've got the logical place to put these what you're thinking about with your trenching and all that kind of thing.
I agree, Claire. The location is such that many people park there strictly because they're not necessarily handicapped, but because they've got a lot of gear to bring into the building. The option of moving it up the hill closer to the dumpster might work, but again, I think there's got to be a better location. Not sure where, I couldn't tell you. But, I appreciate all the complications of installation and the trenching and the transformer. Our duty as trustees is to look out for the patrons. And I'm not so sure that this location is the best idea. I hate to rain on the parade, but that's the way I feel.
I'm saying I think that there are some other prime locations up there that maybe when you go to the grocery store, they say this site's reserved for moms and stuff, or some other kind of signage. This is spaces reserved for people who maybe need a little extra assistance or something like that. Not handicapped, but there are some other prime spots that are not set aside. Maybe we should think about, would that be an alternative?
The ones right by the book return across from the currently reserved ones, because the thing about the spots where you're talking about putting the charging stations, because it's on a hill, when you I'm pretty mobile and agile, but I often have lots of materials. So it's a hill. So when you try to navigate that, I feel like if you're trying to negotiate a lot of stuff, being on that flat surface would be even better. So if we could maybe reserve those spots, maybe it would be the best of everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just what you were talking about, the ones in front of the book return. You could have a few spots there that are marked in some way so that people can just, pick up, grab this stuff and go in, and it's not and it's actually less of a walk.
Problem with that is that, as Jackie's saying, is the transformer is further away, and that might require trenching the parking lot.
I'm thinking of taking those spaces and labeling them in some way so that people that you're talking about can park on the flat surface and go in that way, which is easier to, it's easier to get to. I'm thinking maybe some of them who pick that because it's easier they're used to it, but it's probably easier to back out. So I'm thinking if you use the spots by the book drop, it's easier to back out there because you've got more room with what's behind you. So maybe that's a place, and we just label them in some way that, it's for, you can say for people with heavy packages, or for people making a presentation or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a signage for, if you're not handicapped, there's the pregnant parking,
Yeah.
or, you know,
Yeah.
elderly, or I don't know what kind of signage you get, but I'm sure there's something there. So if I understand what you're saying is our location would be the EVs, but you guys would designate some spots somewhere else within your footprint that would be
Yeah.
preferred parking. Preferred parking. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that solves your issue. I know I'm hearing the objection and I totally understand it, but does that solve the issue, or is that still something that we're not convinced this is a good
And I
idea?
think that would solve the issue. Might actually be an improvement, as Joan points out, given the location.
You don't have to cross the parking lot
Yeah,
also, which
yeah,
is nice.
it's
So it's
not
not
on an
only
incline.
closer, but it's just kind of safer.
Especially,
Yeah,
Sidewalks right there.
Yeah, and
especially
it's
for
flat.
moms with children. You know, they're
And-
not apt to run out when they're on a flat surface heading in, as opposed to up where it's you know, because sometimes I've been concerned when I come in that you know, kids get out of the car and they start to go and they're crossing over in front of you.
Yeah.
I think
One
too,
problem
those,
with that spot next to the book drop is that that first slot is usually reserved for the bookmobile. So that's another concern.
Yeah, but I think we could, what do we need to do tonight? What do you need from us?
Sure.
I think
So-
the town owns
An
the parking
approval,
lot, so
that's-
I don't know how much we say we have to. You want to vote on this or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I'd love a vote, just that you're in support of the project, and that we, you know, you would support having Selco install chargers at the library in this location. And that just gives us the next step. We're gonna have to go to the Historic District Commission. Like I said, we still have to do our engineering review on our side. We've got to apply for the grant and get the grant. So this is one step in many yet to come. But obviously the support of this board is really important. If you don't want us there, it's no sense moving forward with any of those other steps.
And this has raised our awareness about Dean's issue, and so that's a good thing too. So could I get a motion from somebody? It's Priya.
So when Jackie first proposed this, we all got together, Angela Snell, Keith Baldinger, public facilities, Jackie and Patrick and myself, and we, you know, discussed various parking spots that could possibly work. And I think these seem like the ideal location. They had considered the spots near the drop-off area, or using that, and I thought that would not be ideal, especially when we are installing something. I feel that the front of the building, we have to maintain the aesthetics too. Having these structures may not be great for the look there. So I thought the proximity to the transformer also helps. So these two spots seem like the perfect choice. And we know that there are 104 parking spots there, and we know that it gets, I mean, when it's busy, people are going around in circles and not finding a spot. Taking up 3 spots now, I think, is doable.
So, and I will add, I don't know, nobody asked this question, it was in the proposal, but just to make it clear, Selco is going to pay the costs to have this installed. We're going to have all of the ongoing ownership and maintenance of it. There's no drag on the library from that perspective. And it's not even going to be fed through the library's electric meters, so it won't even register on that front. All of this will be individually metered to Selco, and you know, we'll provide our own internet connection, and we'll maintain all of the software licenses required for this. So, but you know, once it's there, it's set it and forget it for the library, and it really becomes a nice feather in your cap to be able to add this to the long list of excellent resources that the library provides. So we just thought it was a good match.
No question, it's a
think-
good idea.
One positive about the location is that it's facing 140. So if you're driving there, you like see them, you know, like if they were tucked further into the parking lot, I feel like as something that's like, wow, you know, this town, this library is, you know, is progressive, and, you know, all the good things that it brings in that respect. It's nice to have them visible.
Okay, so how about this for a motion? That the board supports the installation by Selco of EV charging stations at the library. Details to be advised and approved. It's kind of general, but it's showing our support of the project.
I think that gives some flexibility as well. Once we do the engineering review, if we have to
Yeah. good.
shuffle up a few spots, maybe we'll have to see.
Can I have a
And that's my
second?
motion.
I second the motion.
Okay, I'm going to do a roll call. So Deb? I can't hear you.
You're
You're
muted,
not
Deb.
unmuted, Deb. Deb, you're
I
not.
know, she says.
Okay, she's nodding. I think maybe
Oh.
that's good enough. Okay, Anne Marie,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, with reservations.
Okay, that's okay. With details TBA.
Right.
Nancy,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. So it passes unanimously. So thank you for coming. It sounds very exciting. And don't expect you to stay for the rest of the meeting, though you're welcome to stay if you would like.
Right. No, we're going to hop off, but thank you guys so much for your support. And there will be more information to follow as this progresses. We'll keep Priya in the loop. And if you want us to come back and talk about it more as we get closer, that would be just fine as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank you,
much.
Jackie.
Thank
and
you,
Patrick.
Thanks,
Jackie.
folks.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank you,
day.
Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah. The world is changing. Yeah. All righty. So our next item is to act and approve the report of the director's activities for March 2021. And once again, Priya, you were pretty busy.
Priya, I thought it was interesting that you were invited to talk to graduate students at Simmons about the Memory Cafe.
Oh, I
That's
was just saying
fantastic.
that and I hadn't unmuted myself because it's just been a year and we're still confused about muting. I was just going to say that was a highlight of March that I was invited to talk to Simmons graduate students. There's a consultant at the MBLC, Shelly Casada, who's been she's been a consultant there for a long time. And as you know, we've applied for a number of LSTA grants from MBLC. So she's familiar with our library and with the work we've been doing. And when we started the Memory Cafe in 2016, she was very thrilled with that idea. As you know, the Shrewsbury Library was the first library in Massachusetts to start a Memory Cafe. And she has visited our library many times. She's observed the Memory Cafe itself. So she invited me to talk to the students. She teaches special services for underserved populations. So she teaches a class for that. So she had invited me and it was a lot of fun. I created a PowerPoint presentation of our Memory Cafe from 2016 and all the fun programs we used to have, and then how we pivoted now during the pandemic and how it's been successful even as a virtual program. So it was fun. The students asked a lot of questions. I guess if it was possible, they would have come and visited our library and observed the Memory Cafe, but this was nice and interactive.
How many libraries have memory cafes in Massachusetts?
Since 2016, I know of at least 4 or 5 libraries that have started memory cafes because they came and visited ours, and we shared some tips on how it works at our library. And some towns, they have partnerships with the Council on Aging. So it's the senior center and the library that does it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What has happened to participation during COVID?
Oh, participation now has really improved. We initially it was about 10 people used to attend. Now for the past few months there are facilities that where the activities coordinator gets, get all the people to assemble in one, their common area or program room or whatever they have, and they project it on TV. So see at least 8 to 10 people from each place. I think there's one place called Robbie's Place, I think, and other centers in Marlborough and other towns. And we do have good participation. The last program that we had, the activity was a music program, but it was from a person who was in Scotland. So it was an international collaboration between a musician in Scotland, a person in Texas, and we got to know about them doing this kind of program for memory cafes. And again, because it's everything is virtual, we were able to invite them, and it was a free program. And so we had people from, Scotland, Texas, and Massachusetts attending. I think there were about 30 people at that meeting. So the scope has widened now and the reach has increased. I think when we get back to doing programs in the library, we would have to be able to do both now, to the people who come to the library, and also have some kind of virtual component, either recording that is shared later or simultaneous streamcasting or something like that. For all our programs, I think, children's programs and adult programs. More work for staff, but that's the future, I guess.
Priya, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Cheryl Fay's performance of Abigail Adams, had there been a time limit placed on that?
A time limit? No.
Yeah, I mean, she was only on for like half an hour. In fact, maybe it was less than half an hour. And it seemed like there wasn't, I don't know, I was disappointed, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. I did not attend. That was one of the programs that I did not attend. So I'm sure I can check with Mike. I think they were showing her recording, and then was there a Q&A or something with her?
I don't know. I probably didn't stay on for Q&A, but it just seemed like it was very rushed.
Oh, okay.
I know Abigail Adams was a very wordy person. So I guess I was just disappointed that it wasn't longer.
Oh, okay.
I was a bit disappointed with that program also.
Oh, okay. I will.
Me as well.
Okay.
Vicky, they can't all be, A+.
No,
so.
no, I understand.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the Tale of Two Shrewsburys maybe at our last meeting, but that was pretty fabulous.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Technical difficulties notwithstanding.
I know.
Exactly. Priya, I was surprised that you had 3 meetings of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force, so that meets every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it seems like a lot.
Unique. March was unique. Otherwise, we usually meet twice a month. So when we started this task force, we were one big group of about 28 to 30 people. And then we decided to focus on different things like education, employment, housing, transportation, etc. And I'm part of the education subcommittee. So then we have been meeting in our smaller groups. And then we had a meeting to get together again and share our, what we had learned. And then we interviewed, or we had invited people from, we had Bob Malone and Amy Clouter talk to us, and other groups had interviewed Christina Anderson, people in town who are dealing with hiring and retention and what's the policy that's used in schools and the town itself and stuff like that. So we did have more meetings in March.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion to approve the director's report?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to do the roll call again. Deb,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. Okay, so we go from there to financial and legislative. You sent us the year-to-date report. Look like we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Are we going to have anything left over at the end of the year that we'll turn back to the town? Do you anticipate, or you think we're
We
going to use
can-
up whatever's left?
A materials budget, we do have a balance still, quite a big balance, which we can carry forward to the next year. And we can create POs for purchase orders for, stuff that we know that supplies, we definitely get supplies from WB Mason or Staples, so we can create POs for some amount.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we won't, I don't think we would have to return to the town. We can carry over some of it. The materials, definitely we can.
Okay, that's important for our
That-
requirements on expenditures.
Right,
Okay,
right, yeah.
I don't think we need to do anything to prove that. The next issue was the library branding project. You want to tell us what's you're thinking about in that respect?
Sure. So at the last meeting, Mike had given a little bit of description of what he and the electronic resources librarian have been working on. So as we will be migrating to a new website, we propose to consult a branding firm to help us with a new logo and a tagline that would be distinctive on our website and that we can use on all our promotional materials. The aim is to have consistency in design and a message that will promote trust and recognition. The consultants will advise us on color palette, typography, and ensure that we follow ADA guidelines for accessibility regarding use of color fonts, etc. So the website development team researched other library websites and branding firms and shortlisted 6 firms, and we sought proposals for them. All of them have had experience developing brand identity for libraries or library agencies. And the 6 vendors that we reached out to were Effie Noren, Brigade, Sterling Brandworks, TSM, Costco Creative, and Bayer. And after going through all their proposals, we narrowed it down to Sterling Brandworks, considering the cost that, the quote that they gave and the work that they had done. And then we reached out to the libraries for reference to see how what they felt when they worked with them. So we've chosen Sterling Brandworks. They worked with Northborough Public Library and the Massachusetts Library Association. And I recently found out that Westboro has a new website, and Maureen told me that they had also consulted Sterling Brandworks. They were their consultants for their new website and branding. So for us, it's only the branding, not the website. So after this, I haven't yet confirmed that they will be our consultant. I just wanted all of you to approve this. Then we would schedule a meeting again. They will gather information from us about the mission and vision of the library. Then they will create 3 unique brand identities in the form of a logo. And based on our feedback, they'll make revisions. And then they will provide a standard style guide with colors, values, fonts, appropriate usage of the logo to ensure brand consistency. And this will be, again, for all our promotional materials. Anything that we want to use the logo on, bookmarks or library cards or everything, so that it's all consistent. Virtual promotional materials and print materials, etc. So the estimated expense is $6,000. I'm proposing that we use state aid funds for this project.
I think the branding is really crucial. And, to just have that consistency with whatever it is that we put out there, when people see that, they know immediately that it's the Shrewsbury Public Library. So, I think it's money well spent. So I guess I would make a motion that we allocate $6,000 from state aid to pay for the branding project.
Second,
Okay, I just had a couple questions. Will they take into account things like the town colors? You know,
Tell them
sort of blue and
Town
gold.
colors?
are there
Yeah.
town colors?
I didn't know there were town colors.
Aren't they- Isn't it
Well,
blue and gold?
who knows
Isn't
if we're
isn't
keeping
that
the-
it? It's the high
Are
school
we keeping the
colors?
colonial? Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the high school colors.
But it's on our symbols too, like if you go to town
Yeah.
hall, it's all in the
Yeah.
same colors and stuff. That's one thing I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
That
And the other
was-
thing I was gonna ask you is, now you're gonna run this by people to choose between these three options. I'm not against this, I just want to understand more about what's going on. Who do you run it by?
I was thinking it would be the staff. We would pick the logo, and then the website itself, definitely we'll have a focus group. But if you want me to include a focus group for this, I'm happy to do that too.
Well, I was just thinking that, it's the community that you're trying to reach. And so I was
Sure.
wondering how the community was going to be brought into the decision-making process.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of getting the community involved for this particular thing. As we had said, the website itself, that we are working on,
Mhm, mhm.
the logo and all the menu items and all that. And for usability and ease of navigation and all that, we definitely were going to test that with a focus group. I hadn't considered getting community input for the logo itself.
I think we have to be careful if we look at community input at this stage, only because look at what went on with the whole colonials thing for the high school, and all that was on Facebook with that. I think the branding part really needs to be within the library to come up with that, and then get more information from the community. That's my thinking. In having been involved with doing branding myself with other organizations, I think the more you open it up, the more it becomes it can become a difficult process instead of an easy
Complicated.
project.
We make it
Yeah.
complicated.
And make it
I
complicated.
agree with Joan.
The other thing about color is I would like us not to be the blue and gold.
Okay.
Because, I'd like us to have something that is recognizable but different. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I agree.
I see the logic though there.
I'm no
looked up the
expert. I just thought those
Northborough.
were a lot of questions that came to mind.
Yeah, oh, no, I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked. I think it's good to ask, but, anyway, that's me.
It kind of seems like it's the library's prerogative to know what it's all about and what it needs. But I did look up the Northborough. I wanted to see what the firm had done. And how the Northborough Library has the copper, so theirs is navy and green. So I thought they did a nice job of pulling in, to me, that's a color that is, we don't maybe have that exact thing. We have silver in the murals, but
Yeah.
I also think we have,
pull.
I think we have that beautiful stained glass window. So I
Right.
think we kind of need to think about maybe the colors that are in the window. Because I don't know if that'll be part of the branding or not, but I do think it's, a unique thing within our library.
Yeah, we are considering telling them about that.
Yeah.
And we have been using that as our logo
Right.
unofficially,
Yeah. Not that it has to
Yeah.
stay. I don't mean that, but just.
taking the colors from there.
Okay, well, we have got a motion on the floor that's been seconded, and so I'll do the roll call. Deb,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes,
Lisa,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
April,
yes.
And I'm a yes as well. So we'll look forward to seeing how it turns out. Okay, next we're on facilities. We already talked about the electrical vehicle, the EV charging station. Anything else on facilities, Priya?
No, nothing. Else.
Okay, gifts and grants, anything there?
Nothing under grants, but I thought I would just mention that the library has received another award for the architecture of the building. This is the Robert Kuhn Jr. Award from Preservation, Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
Preservation,
Super.
Massachusetts is a, did I communicate this? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting.
I don't recall hearing about
Okay.
it.
think so.
It was pretty recent that we got the information.
Yeah.
So Preservation Massachusetts is a nonprofit organization, a leader, collaborator, educator, and advocate for preservation efforts, large and small. So Lamero and Pagano had submitted the library project, and I had provided a letter of support and talked about how, when the renovation had been completed, how we were able to welcome 1,000 visitors a day, and it all ages, and make everyone feel welcome, people using the library in different ways, but also how it's worked very well during the pandemic, because we were able to reconfigure the spaces, and staff and patrons feel safe about coming into the library and using one part of the library. So the building has accommodated all of that, and nobody visualized, I'm sure, a pandemic when they created this plan for this building, but it's worked very well. So I had mentioned both of those things, and so they have chosen the library project for one of their awards. They'll be celebrating all the awards that they've given during the month of May, because it's National Historic Preservation Month, and there's going to be a live virtual event on Thursday, May 20th. And on social media, it's going to be spotlighted on May 4th. So that I wanted to share that. And I've been working with Katie Crockett on an acceptance video that we want to create, a short video. They wanted us to send it in advance before the award ceremony. And I guess I'll be very busy on May 20th, right after the library. So I would rather do it than send the video to them. It's much easier to do. So that's the announcement.
Oh, very
Mr.
nice.
Pagano should be happy about that.
I know.
I think it's another award in a long line of awards for him. They've
Yes,
done such a great job in our town, at least.
yes.
Right.
As
Well,
part of the
congrats.
award, how it incorporated the Howe building.
Yeah.
Right. Historic
Like that.
preservation. Yes,
Awesome.
definitely.
Very
Is there
nice.
some sort of a plaque or something that we can post in the library that, shows that we've won yet another award?
I'm sure they'll send us something. Yeah. The Silver Hammer Award, they actually sent us a plaque with a hammer.
Mhm.
So we put it out there near the historic wall, the history and stuff.
Yeah.
It's up there.
It's bragging rights.
Yes.
Right.
Very good. Next item is personnel, and Priya sent out to you the director's evaluation process. I made some changes in line with what we talked about during our last meeting in terms of what month we did what. And there were a lot of things that was supposed to be just the chairman, and I changed it to be the personnel committee, which I thought was more suiting. So I don't know if we had to approve it or if we just say it looks good, or I don't.
Looks good.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anything that needs a formal vote.
no, I think that it looks great.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on track, and we know where we're going to be standing. Okay, excellent. Next is the Shrewsbury Public Library Foundation. Anything from them?
Nothing since our last meeting.
Okay, Friends of the Library?
I don't think there's any new updates from the Friends either.
Okay, so the next word policies, and you sent out a laptop loan policy that I assume everybody's had, hope everybody's had a chance to look at. I was wondering how many Chromebooks were you anticipating getting? And
Oh, we have gotten 6 Chromebooks, and we're getting this through COVID funding from the town. So it's not our materials or our operating budget. So we have purchased 6 Chromebooks, 6 cases for them, a protection plan for each of the Chromebooks and licenses and everything. So it's the total is about $2,500. And it's almost ready. I think there's one other thing that they needed to do before it would be ready for the public loaning. So we created this policy, and of course, first we called it Chromebook use policy, and then I realized that it's basically a laptop, and if we get a different kind of laptop in the future, we want the policy to be the same. So Chromebook use policy, and
That's the only change, isn't it,
pardon?
From
the
the
policy
Chromebook.
that we sent out, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just for
So
everything.
maybe we could, and I think you can't beat the price of a Chromebook, but it might be a while before there's others. So can I get a motion to approve the policy with the word laptops substituted for Chromebook? Would that be?
I just have one question
Yes.
on the policy, which is 21 days. That seems like a long time if we only have 6 Chromebooks. People are going to have to really wait. But I don't know, is that a reasonable time for someone to have a laptop out?
Our hotspot loaning policy is for 3 weeks. All the library of things, materials, sorry, and that might be a 1 week, not sure. But the hotspot is 3 weeks. Generally, all the stuff, books and other things are for 3 weeks. So
And it isn't a problem.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I had a question, after I read this, how does one find out about these? Because I started thinking about the library of things, and I tried to find them on the website and I couldn't find them, except for the gardening tools. I could find those.
That'll be fixed with our new website, right, Priya?
Of course.
Oh, okay, so that's, it's not just me. It's difficult to find right now.
On the catalog, if you just type in library of things, you can see.
But do patrons know to do that?
The most recent e-newsletter, it was mentioned, and we keep promoting it in different ways. Facebook, I think we posted recently about the library of things, because we've really been adding stuff to it. And
I know, yeah.
But we were not allowing, during the pandemic, it was difficult to get, you can't request it like books and stuff. You have to call or, personally come and pick it up, and we would have to go out and give it to them, the gardening tool and all that. So we had stopped loaning out for some time. So we did not promote it a whole lot. But now in the past few weeks, we have been promoting it on Facebook. And as I said in the electronic newsletter. So
I think there's a lot of patrons that don't use the Facebook or would not find that. That's so I'm happy to hear that it'll be fixed with the new website. Any idea when the new website's going to be active? Or
it should be ready by the end of June, hopefully the new fiscal year of July.
yes.
And we should get our brand and logo and stuff integrated also by then. May, June, yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so could I get a motion to approve the laptop loan policy with the word laptop substituted for Chromebook in the draft that Priya sent us?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Deb? She's nodding. Okay. Jeff?
Yes.
I'm sorry, yes, yeah.
Okay. April,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes,
Lisa,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes, so passes unanimously. All right, so now we're on to miscellaneous, and the first thing is the memorial for Bonnie O'Brien.
Right. So Diana will be cleaning up the beds in front of the mural in the courtyard. She'll be planting the flowers and the plants. I think the next week or the week after, she's going to get her Girl Scout team to help her. And so it'll all be ready and we will get the plaque. I did reach out to the company that made all our signs in the building. And as I think I mentioned it in one of my emails to you, that there is a plaque on one side of the mural. So it would be, symmetrical and look exactly like that. And we'll say in memory of Bonnie O'Brien, library director from 1978 to 2004. So that plaque, once I order it, it should be ready soon to install. And the cost of that is $522. The flowers and all of that is $470. So it's about $1,000 for this. And I have received contributions from people that I've reached out to. And we have this library memorial gift account, which is an ongoing, there are funds in that account that we can use, even if it was not dedicated for this purpose. I have received about $650 in the past few weeks from the few people that I had reached out to. So
great.
we can do.
Are you planning to put this on the Facebook page or on the newsletter? So if other people want to make contributions, they can?
Sure. Yeah, I did communicate with the Garden Club folks and the Historical Society people. And individuals that I know were friends of Bonnie's, and they have, I think, spread the word. And Bonnie's sister reached out to her. She said she wouldn't be coming in the summer, but she sent a check too. Yeah.
Okay, so she lives in California or something.
It's amazing how long she was director. That's
I know.
incredible.
I know, really. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I myself hadn't worked with her at all. When I joined in 2005, Ellen was the director, but I, of course, knew Bonnie, and she had started coming to the Memory Cafe because her other sister had Alzheimer's, and she was very supportive of me when I applied for the director position. She brought me a bouquet of flowers when I was hired. Very, very nice, and it was so sudden. She was there at Ellen's retirement party, and that a week later we found out that she'd passed away.
Yes, I'm so glad we got to see her. Yeah, one last time.
So May 23rd at 2 p.m. is the tentative plan. Again, I've not communicated that with a lot of people.
You need to get, you're trying to keep the gathering small, I take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Even though we now have new
John, you're muted if
guidelines
you're-
for outside.
You are inviting the people who were concerned that we hadn't done anything yet for friends.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will invite them.
Yeah.
And I'll probably tell the other town department heads. Many of them would have known her, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we look forward to that. And next item is the expanded services starting May 17th.
May
It's
17th.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we have decided to go with appointments initially. And we said we'd allow for 20 appointments for people to browse the adult fiction and nonfiction every half hour, and 4 families with a maximum of 5 people per family would be allowed in the children's room every half hour. And 5 people can make appointments to use the teen room. So we're not saying 5 teens, but saying 5 people because, parents might want to go and browse there too. So that's the plan. And as I had mentioned, we will continue to offer the services that we are offering now in the hallway and in the meeting room with the computers and the holds being there so that people are not congregating, in the fixed area. So the 2 areas will be separate. And I've already gotten emails from people who want to volunteer. I had asked some of the volunteers from before if they wanted to do this special job of greeter or concierge, providing concierge service, being in the foyer and directing people to the right spots, checking the appointment schedule and all of that. So I'm confident that it's going to work well. Initially, there might be a little bit of confusion because for the past year, we've been saying the west entrance is open. Now we're going to say it's the other main entrance, the north entrance. And the first week, we might have someone at the west entrance to direct people this way. And we'll see how it goes. So it's quite a good number. I mean, I was calculating every half an hour, we can have about 45 people in the building. So in the morning from 10 to 12, there'd be about 180 people who can access the building and the stacks and browse, etc. The afternoon 2 to 4:30, again, half-hour appointments. So that would accommodate 225 people. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll have the extra evening hours, 5 to 7. That would accommodate 180 more people. So I think it's, we've been providing access to restricted areas, now opening up the rest of the building. And at the same time, being mindful of the fact that staff don't feel extremely comfortable yet, of interacting. So I think keeping the computers in the meeting rooms and not, on the second floor where that would have encouraged people to stay longer in the library. I think this is going to restrict the amount of time that people can stay. So in half an hour, you come, browse, use the self-checkout machines. And, the computer use will still be 1 hour, but that would be in a different area.
Priya, what's the mechanism for making appointments? Can people do it on the website?
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will communicate all that starting next week. May 3rd, we will start, we'll post it on the website and start communicating that. And they can call to make appointments also if they don't know how to make it online. We are using the room booking software that we had, the group study room booking software. And of course, we're happy to answer phone calls and help people make appointments.
Priya, how are the staff doing with the shots, vaccinations?
Most people have, almost all of them, I would say, have gotten the first shot at least. And some have gotten both. And by May 17th, at least 90% of the staff would have gotten both the shots.
Great.
What will be the mechanism for? Go ahead, Deb.
Go ahead, April. No,
I just wonder
if people are just oh.
What happens when these slots turn over? So like at the the hour and the half hour, like will there be, is it on your honor or is it like a loudspeaker? Like if you had a 1 o'clock appointment, you have, please check out.
We're going to make announcements. We're planning to make announcements every half an hour. In fact, 25 minutes, after 5 minutes to remind people that they have to use the self-checkout machines and check out their items, etc. Like how we used to make an announcement at the end of the day, you have minutes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And are you
Just
going to
quick
allow
question for those who are just picking. For those that are just picking up holds, do they still enter through the west entrance and then exit as we have through the main entrance? Or everybody coming through the main entrance now?
Everybody will come in from the main entrance, and we will direct people to go this around the bathrooms and from that hallway to get their
For the-
holds. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're not going to leave the toys out for the kids' room, are you?
We would have to monitor that.
Yeah.
You're talking about the teen room?
No, I'm talking about the little kids. You said that the families are going to come, but a lot of the kids come really to play with the toys, and I assuming the toys are not going to be available.
No
Okay,
toys will be
I think that's
available.
wise.
Yeah.
Right, no toys are available, no seating is available. We moved all the furniture to one area on each floor. So the furniture is not accessible either.
If you're picking up a hold, do you need one of these half-hour appointments, or is that a
No, you
separate?
don't
You
need
just
an
come in and
appointment.
do that in and
You
out?
just come in and do that, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm anticipating questions from the people who come to pick up their holds when they realize that they can also browse, but then we have to tell them you'd have to make an appointment to browse. We'll have to face.
You have to be organized in order to be spontaneous and browse, right?
Yeah, and we plan to limit to one appointment per week per family. We'll see how that goes. I mean, all of this is subject to change frequently. We'll keep evaluating how things are going and tweak things. If appointments become difficult, we might change it to drop-ins. I don't know, but right now it's going to be appointments initially.
So someone could come in to get their hold and say, I would like to go into the library, and they say, well, you don't have an appointment. So they could go outside and make an appointment if there's still available ones, I guess.
They
You
could.
say that.
They
Okay.
could, yeah.
Someone could see the parking lot and say, oh, gee, the library's open again.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
That question we've already been getting, because staff are parking in the lower parking lot, so
Right.
we call and ask about
Okay.
the status.
Can you put a sign at the entrance, something that says appointments this way and pick up this way or something like that, so that
We will put a lot of signs.
I'm sure.
I think those volunteers are going to be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's key communication, because you can make announcements in advance, you can have signs all over the building, but it's human interaction that would help, and we have to keep communicating.
Now, when they come in, they're going to check in, and then you'll see that they have an appointment.
Yes.
Priya, do you know if you're going to be doing the teen volunteer program at all? Or do you have enough adult volunteers, or that remains to be
For
seen?
this, I hadn't considered this as part of teen volunteering, but later in the summer, we could consider that. Yeah,
Maybe.
right, after June 15th, probably. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just in case you need more,
Right, yeah, that's
bodies.
wonderful, yeah.
Well, we are all very excited. So thank you for working hard to reopen, and it's going to be a joy.
Thank you, yeah.
I second that.
Most people.
I'm
will
excited.
follow the-
Yeah.
I think
you're
everyone
gonna
will
be
follow
busy.
guidelines and all of that, so I think it'll be smooth.
Okay, now that's the last item that I have on the agenda, but I want to add one more thing. I would like to remind everybody, this is our friend Dean's last meeting. And to recognize all the many things he has done for the Shrewsbury Library and for the board as well. And thank you, Dean, very much. We are going to miss you.
We
You're very
will.
welcome.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you so
I can't
much.
think of a better group of people to have worked with.
Are you still going to be around the library?
I certainly hope so,
Oh,
Joan, at
good,
some,
good.
at some
So
point.
So
Yeah.
once we get into with our timed appointments, we can look for you.
That's right.
May have to come in the back room.
Dean's a fixture.
I know.
part of the library.
I know, yeah. We used to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
miss it.
how he would spend more hours than staff.
I know.
When he could. On a Saturday, you would find Dean there and saying, what is Dean doing?
Yeah,
But
I
On occasion, on
6
occasion.
days of
yes.
the week.
We'll miss you on the board, Dean.
Thank you.
Will.
Yes, we
You
will.
will
Thank you very
miss.
much.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Dean,
Thank you.
very much.
Claire, I wanted to mention Juneteenth as a
Oh,
holiday.
yes, yeah.
We were going to talk about that. So June 19th, as you all know, is Juneteenth, and it's been declared a holiday by Governor Baker. This year it falls on on Saturday. We were working on the summer Saturday schedule, and I was wondering if I think the trustees can approve the day as being a holiday because it's a Saturday. The town itself, they're going to make a vote or not vote. I think the personnel bylaw amendment will be made at the May town meeting, May 22nd town meeting. And they will announce if it is going to be added as a holiday. But because it's on Saturday, I was wondering if we could, if all of you could decide that it is a holiday, then we don't have to schedule staff for that day.
I can't, now, we normally close on Sundays during the summer anyways, right? When
Yeah.
will that start?
Memorial Day. The week before
Okay.
Memorial Day is the last.
And do we do reduced hours on Saturday? I can't remember anymore for June and July and August.
No, we do the same hours, 9 to 5.
Oh, we did. Okay, regular hours. Okay.
Regular
yeah.
hours, yeah. Regular.
Well, I think it makes sense to, since it's probably, I'm sure the town is going to approve it to, I would certainly favor closing on that day.
Oh, me too.
So
Yeah.
do we close Saturday or do we close Monday? Because if the town, isn't the town observing it Monday because most other town offices are
Oh,
closed?
So
Or they're
the,
not open on Saturdays, I
Oh,
mean,
good point.
yeah. then
just
it
for like
would become a
consistency, is
long
it weird?
week. Yeah, that is weird. I mean, that is something we have to discuss then. Then it would become a long weekend. And the Memorial Day is a long weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the library is closed. So,
I mean, I think, I think we should approve it either way, but I
Yeah.
just was curious of which day.
Maybe you can keep up, I don't know that we can vote to approve it right now, but then you could just keep track with the town about what they're going to do. I know it's important for your planning, so of course you want to
yeah.
do it.
Well, our next meeting will be right after
Well,
town meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so could we do it
Right.
then? And I think you
Um,
could probably proceed assuming
yes.
that we're going to agree to do whatever, the town goes along with, so.
Sure.
So we can postpone maybe a
town will
motion
make
till
it.
after we figure out what the town's doing. Is that what we want to do?
Well,
It
we
would
know.
still be, sorry,
Would
it
still
would
be
still be your
Saturday.
decision, I think, if it's a Saturday, right? If the
Yeah.
actual, June 19th is a Saturday, so that would still be your decision. Even if the town declares that Monday is a holiday, do we want to give Saturday off? Is the question.
What would be the thing that the staff would be most appreciative of?
Mhm.
I mean, usually I'm reluctant to close the library for 3 days in a row, because Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend, we are closed for three days.
But it wouldn't be both. It would be one or the other. It'd be either Saturday or Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, I don't know what the staff would prefer. Do they have like rotating
Staff-
Saturdays?
If the town declares Monday as a holiday, then everyone gets a day off, right? Monday. Saturday would impact 4 or 5 staff members because only 4 people or 5 people work on a Saturday, on any Saturday. But if Christmas were on, if December 25th was a Saturday, we would still have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, because the June 19th itself is a Saturday. And if we want to make it, holiday, I feel that day should be declared a holiday.
But what are you going to do next year when it's on a Sunday and it's going to be closed anyway?
Right. Then
The
the
library.
bylaws say that if it is a Sunday, then you have Monday off. Or if a holiday is on a Saturday, they give Monday off, right?
What is the rest of the community doing? I'm not talking about the town, but I'm just wondering about other government type of organizations. Are they taking Monday off, or are they taking Saturday off? I just think I think consistency is important.
Sure, absolutely. But as far as our town is concerned, and maybe most towns, town offices are closed on Saturdays. It's only the library that is open, right? And emergency personnel, of course, will be working, but otherwise it's town offices are generally closed on Saturdays.
So that's why they get Monday.
Right.
So you're saying if the town votes to take it Monday, then the library will be closed.
Will
But
be
we
closed
would
Monday.
we would also vote to observe it on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm myself debating whether it's the right thing to do, having a long
I
weekend.
think yeah. I think
Could
that's
we
a lot
wait
of
till the
days.
next month to decide this? Would that be too late?
Saturday schedules are kind of, we try to schedule it for 3 months at a time because it's by rotation. And we like to know if they have a Saturday off or they're scheduled to work. And it will affect the whole schedule, so we have every in-charge person in rotation for all the Saturdays and other staff and all that, so.
So
I
if we agree to Saturday being the holiday and the library's closed, what happens Monday? If the town,
Monday, if the town
Closed.
closes, then we would be closed. Right?
but would you be open on Saturday?
Not if we
No.
vote.
No,
I get you.
That's-
Okay, now I'm
that's the
beginning.
thing.
Okay, now I'm getting to
something-
understand. Okay.
Just to, I don't know if this is a factor or not, but June 18th is the last day of school. So I feel like there are a lot of families that maybe they need to take a breather, but some people sort of then it's just funky timing to have people sort of kicking off summer and summer reading and all of that stuff. And then the library's closed for
Yeah.
3 days.
I'm
Yeah,
inclined to
it's-
go with whatever the town does myself
So just
and leave it at that.
Monday.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, as Dean said, as trustees, we need to look out for the patrons. And I think a 3-day weekend it's a lot
Yeah, I
to be
agree.
closed, especially right after Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
And especially after just opening too, I think it's tough.
Yeah.
People will have been so excited.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be
And-
really open then.
But maybe in future years we change our mind about that. But I feel like this is a good move that we're acknowledging, this as a holiday.
But the other thing I'm thinking about is that we have a group of people who will be working that day. So can we sort of say that they can get another day or something? And it's sort of like the way now that I'm understanding it, it's sort of like the library isn't going to get any compensation for the fact that they're open on Saturday. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if there are other town departments, what they're doing with their Saturday staffs, if Monday is going to be the holiday.
But when you work on a Saturday, you get Friday off. So that, I mean, they are not.
Oh, okay.
extra. They're not no one's working extra hours.
Okay, that would be my only concern, that we're
Okay.
asking a group of people to work extra.
No, they get Fridays off.
Okay.
Okay,
And then
Sounds
they'll get
pretty
Monday
fair.
off.
July 4th is also on a
Yeah.
Sunday, and the town has declared Monday to be the holiday. So we'll be working on July 3rd on Saturday.
okay, all right. That's my only concern, that we ask more of them than other people who work in the town.
Yeah, it's just that it is the 19th itself is the official day, right, for Juneteenth, and that happens to be on a Saturday. That's all. That's why I posed this question.
Right.
I think we've all gotten used to Memorial Day not being on Memorial Day sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
so
true.
we will be open on June 19th.
Okay. Anything else?
No, no.
So at our next meeting, we are going to reorganize the board. If anybody wants to be the chair, please let me know. Probably be communicating with, I know I'll be communicating with people about what roles they might want to serve on the board. And we will have a new trustee.
Yeah,
Anybody voted? Make sure you
I
vote.
did. I went today, I did early voting.
I'm
Vote
planning to
tomorrow
go.
or Thursday.
I'm going tomorrow.
Worked very well. Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Voting becomes so important now when you listen to all that's going on in this country about voting. It really
Yeah.
does. It was nice to see we had so many days ahead of time that we could do it.
Yeah, that's a
They've
great
done a
vote.
great
Yeah.
job.
Yep.
All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
And all in favor, raise your hands.
Yeah.
Okay, I see everybody's raised their hand. All right, so our next meeting is May 25th, and we will see you then.